Yo, what's going on, everybody? You've seen the thumbnail, you've read the title, and today I want to talk about how Cold War's balance is based completely off of perception. And by that I mean everybody has a completely different experience on how Cold War is balanced and what guns are meta and what guns are abused and used more than others. And yeah, I guess there's not much more of an intro. Let's get into the video, guys. Alright, so every single time I talk about balance in Cold War, it seems like everyone's almost trying to correct me in a way, and not that I'm not open to being corrected. I am perfectly fine with being corrected if I say something that is factually wrong in my videos. I am 100% open to being corrected with that, but every single time I bring up the meta, because honestly in Cold War, the only two weapons I almost always see is 7.4U and Krig 6. That is it. And every single time I've mentioned that in a video, or I've made entire videos talking about balance in the game, somebody always comes around and says, well, I experienced something completely different. And obviously there is a million comments of this, I can't find them all, but the most recent one that I have is from a guy named VVVTTT. I'm going to call him Triple V Triple T because that's easier. Alright, so Triple V Triple T's comment here says this: not trying to defend the game or anything, but the Krig is average at best. Just because a lot of people use it against you doesn't make it meta. I think most people use it because that's what the pros use, because they ban the other good ARs, which is true. The AK is by far the best AR, followed by the FARA, then the XM4. Also, I think the 7.4U is relatively balanced. I see way more people complain about the LC10 now. So this is where I think he's wrong, because I personally see something different, and doesn't mean he's inherently wrong, because some people would say, all of these guns are weak, the AUG and M16 and Stoner reign absolutely superior and destroy the game. I don't see that. I never see the AUG and M16 hardly ever in my lobbies. I hardly ever see LMGs. So people can have entirely different viewpoints, and this is really interesting. Now, his point about the AK being the best assault rifle in the game is actually true. The AK is stupidly strong. It is by far one of the strongest ARs in the game. Might even be one of the strongest guns in the game. But nonetheless, I see the Krig all the time. I obviously know the AK is very strong, but I complain about the Krig because nobody seems to recognize that the AK is a very strong weapon. I don't understand why, but nonetheless, it is probably part of the reason that the pros use it. Also, he says that the 7.4U is relatively balanced, and says that he sees way more people complaining about the LC10. When I simply don't see this. I don't really see anybody ever using the LC10 aside from like once every 5 matches. I barely ever see the LC10 getting used. So, to me, I think this is crazy talk, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's completely different with the amount of times people have said that they experienced something completely different to me. Maybe this is because maybe he plays more aggressive, maybe he plays more passively than I do. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is a skill gap difference. I don't know what it is, but people seem to have completely different opinions on balance every single time I bring it up. People seem to experience completely different things, and this shows how drastic of an impact skill-based matchmaking really has on the balance decisions in the game, because some people are having way worse problems with LMGs than me. I barely see LMGs nowadays, and some people, that's all they see. It's really insane. But anyways, going back to the comment thread here, I basically reply with what I've been saying that, you know, it's all based off of perception, the balance, and I only play against 7.4U and Krig all day and never really see the FARA, AK, or LC10. And then he obviously replies with, yeah, I get your point, but that's pretty much every online game at the moment. I do get what you're saying about the Krig, however. The LC10 is by far the most common SMG I see in my lobbies. Which basically, like, we've come to this point of essentially accepting that the balance in this game is horrible. In skill-based matchmaking really affects it, because we are seeing two completely different things. Sure, we're both seeing ARs and SMGs because it's a category of weapon, but I am seeing completely different weapons to him. Like, I don't understand why this happens. I don't know if it's based on playstyle, if it's based off of what weapon we use, if it's based off of how you play the game, what routes you take on maps. There's obviously a million variables in the skill-based matchmaking system that can affect this, but I just think it's really interesting to see all these different perceptions of balance. So, I guess with that being said, let me know what you guys are seeing for your games. Are you seeing LMGs? Are you seeing the 7.4U Krig all day? What are you seeing in your lobbies? Obviously, this is going up before the new season, so aside from the new DLC weapon that is going to be coming out in about 10 hours or so, aside from the new DLC weapons and the tier system and stuff like that, what are you seeing, or what were you seeing before this? With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a like, sub to the channel, turn on post notifications, and I will see you guys all later. Bye bye.